Worried about the hey, don't worry about what's going on in LA. We are entitled to it.
You are listening
Now
to
to
the
say
B.I.G. Show
we
with your
can get
hosts,
everything and
Calvin and
everyone.
Garland. The B.I.G. Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show, sponsored by the LA Lakers, and we are back. What's going on, Garland? You there?
I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm just trying to looking at the last work email for the day, and so it's a lot of scratching in the back. So hopefully people won't hear all of our scratching. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good. What about yourself?
I'm good, man. We are live on YouTube right now, and we will be on all the podcast platforms. And if you have Spotify, you'll be able to see our beautiful faces. I'm Calvin. That guy over there is Garland. He's a Laker hater. Again, like I said earlier, we are sponsored and powered by the LA Lakers right now.
Oh God, we ain't got no sponsorship by no Lakers. I got something against Laker fans. I was a Showtime Laker fan, but Lakers fans are entitled. They believe that they should get every player in the league. They believe that everything should go their way, and that's just not how real life works.
Surely you just, that's what happens when you've been a Wizards fan all your life. You realize that ain't nothing going to go your way.
Been no Wizards fan. I might have been a Bullets fan at one time in my life in the 70s, in the mid to late 70s, but I was not no Wizards fan.
Bullets, Wizards, potato.
It's
all the same thing.
It's a difference. It's a difference.
A struggle franchise is a struggle franchise.
When it was in Landover, then I was a fan. But when
Wes Unseld is not coming through the door anymore.
One of the last great players for the Bullets.
Listen,
I was a big Elvin Hayes fan.
Your glory days of Calvert Chaney and LeBron Prophet are over. So they ain't
you
never
were
coming
a Calvert
back.
Chaney fan. Look at you. You know players. I can't even tell you. Outside of Chris Webber and Juwan Howard.
I know play. That's all. First of all, if you know Chris Webber and Juwan Howard, don't act like you don't know George Mirasan and LeBron Prophet.
Yeah, they were still the Bullets then.
And remember Juan Dixon was there for a while too, son. I
can't tell you who's playing on the roster right now. I can't tell you who's been on that team in the last 5 years.
I can't either. I keep forgetting Jordan get punched in your mouth by Draymond last name, but he's with New Orleans now. And they even worse than the Wizards. Except for our Turk boy from Maryland, Derek Queen. Derek Queen is out there killing.
They could have got
Rookie of the Year.
We could have gotten the Derek Queen in the trade. I mean, in the draft, but he's down there in New Orleans doing his thing.
Don't worry, he'll be a Laker soon. Anyway, what's going on today, Garland?
Everybody don't want to play with the Lakers. Everybody don't want to. I keep on trying. Everybody don't want to play with the Lakers anymore, especially because the coach killer there. You got to be represented by LeBron's agency in order to play there. So
we're about to move LeBron and his whole crew out of there. You know what I mean?
Nope, his son there. His son's still gonna be there. Come on.
We about to move Bronny 2 times out also.
Yeah, I'm moving Bronny out. Anyway, let's get into the show, y'all. A little segue. Let's talk some college football playoffs. The college football playoffs are set with undefeated Big Ten champion Indiana earning the number 1 seed, while 2 group of 5 teams, American Conference champion Tulane and the Sun Belt Conference champion James Madison, were selected for the second iteration of the 12-team college football playoff field. The other top seeds will receive a first-round bye. Ohio State, the Ohio State University, Georgia, and Texas Tech. Ohio State's number 2, Georgia's number 3, and Texas Tech is number 4. The Fighting Irish, who went 10-2 this year, were the first team left out of the field, and Miami, who also went 10-2, received the last at-large spot after moving up 2 spots to number 10 after the 12-person CFP selection committee ultimately decided head-to-head results mattered in the end. And so, Calvin, who do you pick? Who you picking in this tournament to win?
Indiana. Listen,
Picking Indiana.
let me
Okay,
tell
go
you
ahead.
something. Indiana was the number one seed, and they beat Ohio State. Which, if you actually listen to Bomani, he said it clearly. He said about maybe about 3-4 years ago that would have been a huge story. And Indiana Hoosiers football team beating an Ohio State college football team, that would have been a huge story. But right now, it's just par for the course with the NIL. Actually, let me take that back. I would actually pick Georgia at this point. I think Georgia is one of the better teams, and I think Georgia will come out on top. But you never know. It's crazy out there. Let me. Are we going to talk about Notre Dame? Are we going to talk about
Yeah,
Notre
we're going
Dame?
to talk about Notre Dame.
Okay. Okay.
I would go. I'm going to go with Georgia. I think Georgia is a good team. I've watched them play several times so far this season. The offense, they get enough to get it done. The defense is very good as well. I like their seeding. They're definitely going to get to the semifinal. They play the winner of the Tulane Ole Miss game, and so I think that's an easy path to at least get to the semifinals. See, Indiana will play the winner of Alabama, Oklahoma, which might be a tough game for them. Ohio State will have the winner of Texas A&M versus Miami, and Texas Tech will face the winner of Oregon, James Madison. And so, I think those first round games, when you get to the quarters, we might see all these top seeds get to the semis. But if there's one that I really like, I like Georgia. And so
You
we'll
did
see
hear
what
me say
happens.
Georgia. Did you hear me say Georgia?
I heard you say Georgia.
Okay. Okay. Just making
I heard
sure.
you say Georgia.
Because
Yeah, I did.
if Indiana loses the first round, you gonna come back on and be like
I
Calvin's
heard
team,
I heard
Indiana.
you say, but the first thing you said was Indiana. Okay, so let's be clear about that.
But hold on.
First,
My
mhm,
earphones why I came out. All right, I'm back.
the first team you said was Indiana.
It was. It
Okay,
was. That
all
was
right,
that
all right.
that was more in jest than anything else. But I think Georgia's gonna win it. But you know what? I mean, if you want me to take Indiana, I'll take Indiana.
Anyway, all right. And so, man, but Notre Dame, they big mad, Calvin. Notre Dame athletic director P. Bakova told ESPN that the program was in utter disbelief and shocked after being left out of the 12-team college football playoff on Sunday. As a result, the Fighting Irish said the team decided not to participate in a bowl game this season. The Irish had been ranked in the top 10 of every college football playoff ranking before Sunday when they were slotted at number 11 in the first team out. Miami, they beat Notre Dame in week one, moved ahead of the Irish in the final rankings to fill the final at large berth. And so, does Notre Dame have a legitimate gripe, or are they being pussies complaining?
Whoo, damn, I can't believe you said are they being pussies. They actually are being assholes, but yeah, I like
Mhm.
pussies too. I mean, first of all, what are they? ACC adjacent? Because they're not even
Yeah,
part of the
they're in
ACC.
they're in the ACC with all the other sports except football. Football is independent.
Exactly. So
But
if
they
you
have a 5 game deal with the ACC. They play 5 teams every year. But go ahead.
if you actually want to guarantee your spot, because Notre Dame is a premier football, you probably need to actually join a conference. Number one, number two, one of your two losses is to Miami. I don't care how
Mhm.
long ago it was. I don't care what the strength of schedule and all that is. You lost to Miami, and teams should be rewarded for head-to-head matchups. And Miami beat you, so Miami should get in. You don't want to play in the bowl. That's that rich people shit. Because I
Mm,
guarantee you, some of these other schools would be like, "Well, we need that bowl money." Notre Dame clearly doesn't need the bowl money. And then you got Malcolm X up there, their head coach fighting the power and shit, representing the team for you. So he
right.
might as well. I mean, hey, Malcolm, we're gonna have an opening in Maryland soon if you want to, come down to a school that will
He ain't
fight
coming to
that you have
Maryland.
to fight for.
He ain't coming to Maryland.
I know he ain't coming to
He ain't
Maryland.
coming to Maryland. Please, Maryland ain't got no money. I think they're just they're complaining. I mean, I don't think they have a legitimate gripe
None,
because they
none.
are an independent team and they can pick their schedule. they did not pick a very tough schedule. The toughest teams that they had on there that was high ranked was Miami, and Miami beat them in the head to head. I know it's the first game of the season, but you can't discount that. And so they should go ahead and totally get in the ACC, but no, they're special. They're Miami. As I was doing some reading about this, man, I didn't know that Notre Dame had declined going to bowl games all the way up until 1969. And so they have a history of just
Ah,
we're set aside. We don't go to bowl games because we're Notre Dame. And so they don't necessarily have a big history of playing in bowl games all the way up to 1969. And
ah,
so
okay.
they've always felt that they were set apart. You know, they felt that they were different. That's why they went out and got their own TV deal with NBC and all of these other things. And so I think eventually it comes back to bite you. You want the benefits of being in a conference, but you don't want to be in a conference. You know, you
Exactly.
want the benefits of being in the ACC. And if you were in the ACC, more than likely you would have been the ACC champ, and there would be no discussion about this. But you don't want to be in the ACC. You want to go ahead and be independent, at least football wise, where the money is. And it came back to bite you. And so he's mad at the ACC. I mean, he's been talking about the ACC had pushed Miami above them and everything, which was I felt was kind of inappropriate. But you know, does this snub effectively begin the death of postseason bowl games? Like, you know, why do you play in them if you're not playing for a championship? Because this is basically what Notre Dame is saying. You know, we don't want to go to the Pop Tart Bowl because we're not playing for the national championship. You got players now opting out of the bowl games. You got the transfer portal coming up.
Yeah.
People going to hop into that. You know, what's the point of playing these pointless bowl games when your goal is to play in the CFP?
Yeah, so remember we talked about that a couple years ago. So I don't think this is the beginning of making bowl games irrelevant, but going back to NIL and going back to a lot of these players not playing in it because they want to save their bodies for the NFL, I think that is the beginning, and that was like a slow burn building up. And now that you have the actual playoff tournament, and not a 14 playoff tournament, you got a 12 team, which eventually will go to 16 and possibly 18 or even more. Yeah, I think bowl games are going to start being on a decline. However, you still have your mid-major schools, your Division II schools. You still have schools that could benefit from the money of a bowl game. So I don't think they're going to totally go away, but you may start missing some of these bigger sponsors. I don't even know if they still have. Remember, they used to have
You
like
group
the
of five schools.
Tostinos Fiesta Bowl and things like that. So you may start losing some of these bigger sponsors, but I do think bowl games still serve a purpose for some of the lesser schools to, earn some money.
Okay, definitely. So we'll see what happens with this, but I think it sets a bad precedent, and I think we're going to see in the coming years, you're going to see more and more schools that are on the level of Notre Dame. Now, if there are other schools that have opted out of bowls because one, they've changed the coaching staff, they're did not have winning records, and they're at 6-6, and they're trying to rebuild, and they got new staff coming in, and so they've declined to go to a bowl game. But when you have a 10-2 team saying, we mad because we didn't get in, and so we just quit. I think that kind of sets a precedent that we're going to see more of that in the coming years. Let's go ahead and transition to a little bit of NFL, man, before we get to the Ravens. It was all good just a week ago, Calvin. Week 14 really shaped a whole bunch of things in the NFL over the past week. And so let's start with the Colts. The Colts gambled on their future and they lost. Calvin used to get on me where I talk about Lamar had gambled when Lamar was out here. It was going to be a potential free agent and he lost. But I would say that
Lost.
the Colts gambled and they lost. During Sunday's loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, quarterback Daniel Jones tore his Achilles tendon and is out for the remainder of the season and possibly the entire 2026 season. Our former top 5 pick, Anthony Richardson, is on IR, and backup Riley Leonard strained a calf muscle, which led to the team signing retired quarterback who's a semifinalist in this year's class of the Hall of Fame, 44-year-old Philip Rivers. Now, the coach, they mortgaged their future with Sauce Gardner. I remember we talked about these trades. I kind of was a little leery about this because I felt that this trade of two number ones, they basically were saying Daniel Jones is our quarterback for the future because they were not going to, spend a first round pick on a quarterback. Now that person's gone. Sauce, I didn't know this until I was listening to probably it was Bomani the other day. In his career, I think it's over 5 seasons. Sauce Gardner only has 3 interceptions.
Yeah, but
He only
I
has 3 interceptions. I mean,
I
I,
heard
I,
that
I
also.
yeah,
But
I said that he was not an impact shutdown corner just because people are not throwing that way. I mean, he's not having a big impact on game. I mean, I didn't think it was worth 2 first round picks. That's what I'm saying. If you trade 2 first round picks for peak Dion or peak Revis or one of those, then I was like, yeah, because those guys are game changers. Sauce, he's a great player, but he's not a game changer. And so they have no clear cut quarterback for the future. So do you think they'll make the playoffs?
so that's going to be tough because what are they on their third loss in a row coming off of a bye week?
Yes.
I think it's
Yes.
so that's the tough part. Now, um, first of all, let's get this straight because we've said this in the past about Indianapolis. Fuck the Colts. So let's make sure we get that out of the way.
Yeah.
'Cause let's
Hmm.
get that out of the way right there. Yeah, man, and their schedule does not dictate any easy games coming up. They already that loss that they just had knocked them out of first place. It knocks them into the wild card round. So I don't think it's going to get any easier for them. I think they actually may miss the playoffs. I don't see. I believe they are playing. Are they playing Denver this week? Nah. Who are they
I
playing
can
this
look
week?
it up, but keep on
Uh,
going.
I think they have a pretty.
Oh
Is it
no, they're
Houston?
playing Seattle.
Seattle. Seattle. I was about to
Let
say
me
they have a
look at
tough
the
matchup
last
this
four
week.
games.
Yeah, they have a
Last
tough
four games,
matchup this week.
Seattle, Niners, Jaguars, Texans.
Yeah, so their schedule does not get easy for them. I believe they might miss the playoffs. Anything can happen, but if you're not having Daniel Jones there, who isn't actually a savior, but he was playing well for him, and now you got to bring in Philip Rivers.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of wear and tear going to be on Jonathan Taylor. A lot more wear and tear going to be on Jonathan Taylor. So, yeah, and you know what, Garland, you ain't had to do that about Anthony Richardson. You know that
Why?
man can't see out his eye, and you're gonna be like, Anthony Richardson is on the IR. You ain't had to do that, bro.
That's right. He ain't got no eyes. Eye all busted up. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think these last 4 games, it's going to be real rough for them in terms of the playoffs and what's going to happen. As a matter of fact, if we look at, I'm trying to pull up a bracket right now in terms of playoff standings. Let me pull this up real quick. If we look at playoffs, the way they currently set right now, they're out.
Right.
And so right now, Denver would be the number 1 seed. You would have Houston at 7, uh, New England at 2, Buffalo at 6, Jacksonville at 3, Chargers at 5, and the Steelers at 4. And so, yeah, they would be on the outside looking in. They need to get these last games, and they started off so well, but as you said, injuries and everything ate them up, and they just have not been able to capture that magic that they had earlier in the season.
And let me real quick on Sauce Gardner. I heard that stat and I kind of took it with a grain of salt only because he played on the Jets. Now, of course, they didn't throw on his side, but did they necessarily have to when you're the best corner on your team, the best defender on your team, and he was one of the better ones, they don't have to throw his way. I get it that you should have some sort of impact, but I take it with a grain of salt. Now, two number one draft picks for a cornerback it's kind of crazy. I will say that. Unless they thought they were going all in and he was going to take the team over the top. But then he instantly gets hurt. But let's say he wasn't hurt and he was healthy. If you get one of your offensive players hurt, I mean, is Sauce Gardner enough to still give you hope that you're going to get over the top? Like, no, I don't think so. So, 2 first round draft picks was wild. Or how the
Yeah.
kids say it, diabolical.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was wild. Shorty was wild. All right, man. Let's talk about the most. polarizing fifth round pick ever in the NFL. Your boy Shador. Shador for MVP, Calvin. Shador Sanders had his best game as a pro so far. He had 4 total touchdowns in the loss to the Tennessee Titans on Sunday in the battle against number one pick Cam Ward. Sanders passed for 364 yards, but he was not in the game on the last play of the game that could have given the Browns the victory. I think they were going for 2 points, and the 2 point conversion failed. Um, when you talk about Shador, man, people, it's all or nothing about Shador. Let's just say that. It's all or nothing about Shador. When you talk about Shador, either you are against him in terms of you with the man and it's a great conspiracy against Shador, or you're overly supportive. You're just anything Shador does is great. Like for instance, okay, he passed for 364 yards and he had 4 total touchdowns, but the team lost. But if you point out that the team lost, you're a hater. And so, why is Shador the most polarizing player in the league? In your opinion, I don't think there's anybody that garners as much angst when you talk about him. I mean, people get worked up about Shador.
I mean, it's clearly because of his daddy, the brazenness that has been surrounding him since Jackson State and on to Colorado. Shador doesn't make it any better at times. I think he's a little more tamed and a little more media savvy now that he's in the NFL. But during the draft and all that, he just wasn't. But I mean, the reality is, there has been, if you look, there seems to be, and I don't want to say there has been definitely, but there seems to have been a campaign against him. A
Mm,
lot of people where if you watch him play now and you can compare him to Dylan Gabriel that was playing prior to him, he's clearly a better player than Dylan Gabriel. So why did Dylan Gabriel get to go higher? And so that's going to cause some dissension there, some separation there. We talk about Mike Tomlin and we talk about John Harbaugh in the AFC North need to be gone. Why is Kevin Stepanski? Why haven't we talked about him? Because he clearly has some coaching malpractice going on there. And instead of embracing, of course, yeah, he now announced that he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season. But instead of embracing what he did halfway in the prior game, some in the other game, in this full game, he pulls him off the field in the most crucial play of the game, the 2 point conversion that tied the game. He pulls them off the field and they lose. So now you want to say he's the starter. So again, they're not making it any easier for him. So that divide is going to still stand there. And Kevin Stefanski, whatever the fuck his
Stefanski.
name is, he needs to be fired. But he's horrible.
Stefanski. Fired. you know, this is really part of it is Cleveland's fault because they probably after they drafted Gabriel and they signed Pickett and they signed Flacco, there was most people saying, why would they go get Shador? Why would you put 4 quarterbacks on your roster when the initial plan was that, it would be Flacco, Pickett, and Gabriel would be developed? Um, when I think about Shador, a lot of times we're taking this thing like Shador came out of Cherry Hill or East Baltimore and he came up out the mud and he had to go get this. This is a guy that was born on third base. And his father is one of the greatest football players ever, one of the greatest two sport athletes we've ever witnessed in our lifetime. And so his father created a school just to coach him and his brother. And so his father took him to the colleges where he was working so he could coach him. So this is not a guy who had to face a whole bunch of adversity. And I think adversity is good. We all face it. You can come up from it. And so maybe this is his first time of facing some true competitions and some true diversity because he's really had a path laid out for him, as someone said, with his father had the finger on the scales in terms of helping him get to this point. And so, yeah, maybe there's some hate on daddy. Um, but I think it's okay. We can be measured on Shador. You know, hey man, he's playing. They're going to start him for the rest of the season. I think if Stefanski is fired, then he has an open competition next year with Deshaun Watson and Dylan Gabriel for that starting job in Cleveland. So he performs out, and you come into next year, he's going to have a chance to get the starting job. And it's not going to be a conspiracy if he doesn't get it. Players play against each other, and teams make decisions on who plays. I mean, here in Baltimore, is it a conspiracy that why Daniel Falale is continually to start at left guard, excuse me, at right guard? Does he have pitches on John Harbaugh or something? Or does he have blackmail on Eric DaCosta? No, it's, sometimes players beat out other players, or sometimes you just have what you have and you try to play it and develop it. And so I think with Shador, it kind of reminds me back when 50 Cent first got hot as a rapper. And everybody's like, 50, he's not the greatest rapper, but he picked great beats, he had great things. He had the whole mystical thing around him of being shot 9 times. And people like, 50's whack, 50's whack. But 50's retort to always that was, well, I went double platinum. I'm a platinum artist, so that means people must love me. And I think with Shador, we just need him to show it to us on the pro level. We understand some of the things he did on the college level. I think he's going to earn his way. I think he's in a great position because I don't think Stefanski's there next season as the head coach. And I think, if he shows out these last couple games, if they decide that they don't want to keep him, he's definitely can get them some more players in a trade. He could go to a team. I really thought he should have taken Baltimore's offer to be developed behind Lamar, or Philly's offer to be developed behind Jalen Hurts. There's a possibility he could be playing in both areas and both teams that are successful. But he's gone to a franchise that they're going to be rebuilding next year. And you don't know if that coach is going to want Shador. That coach might say, hey, let's go get somebody out the draft. Let's use Deshaun Watson for this last year or two, and we build up from there. And so it's still a lot of instability there.
Yeah, but Cleveland, let me just say this. Cleveland lost the right this year to have a competition that includes Dylan Gabriel next year. In just his short time, he's outplayed Dylan Gabriel by miles, and we've seen Dylan
Sure,
Gabriel can
I agree
barely
with that.
throw. So they've
I agree with
lost that right of competition. The only competition that he can have now is Deshaun Watson, which they pretty much, I mean, truth be told, they pretty much should just be moving on from Deshaun Watson for various reasons.
that. Yeah,
But
they
so they
owe him a
may
lot
bring
of
in
money though.
yeah,
They
they
owe him a
do.
lot
They
of
do.
money, and the cap, the dead money on the cap is that's why they're going to probably at least rock with him for another year. I think if they go into the draft and they take a quarterback, then that lets us know where they view Shador. Maybe
Yeah,
Shador number two, and they're developing the one. But if they go in the draft and they don't take a quarterback, I think that's very good for Shador.
yeah. So the fans and the media in Cleveland, if you even listen to them, they are full on Shador Sanders right now. And you know, he's not perfect. He's not the next coming, but for a town like Cleveland that has not had quarterback success since the likes of Baker Mayfield, this is something that they can latch on to. Now, him coming to Baltimore, him going to Philly, although it sounds good and he could have developed for himself, but let's think about where both teams are now. If Shador was in Baltimore with the way Lamar and the team are playing, the media circus would be crazy. And the way that Lamar is playing with all of our local Lamar haters, it would be unbearable hearing that Shador Sanders should have been on the field. If he goes to Philly, Philly just lost what, their third game in a row?
Mm,
Goddamn Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl winning Jalen Hurts, just came off of a performance that was awful. They already hate Jalen up there. AJ Brown is out there complaining about the way Jalen plays. You think that they would be letting Shador, the fans would be letting Shador sit on the bench while Jalen is out there not winning? Yeah, man, I think he's in the right place. There's no pressure in Cleveland. and for us, me and you, Ravens fans and Phillies fans, I think Shador's in the right spot right now.
Okay. All right. What you see is what you get. In the words of the great 1973 R&B hit by the Dramatics, what you see is what you get, is what you get. What you see is what you get, is what you get. And what we get, Calvin, the Ravens are not that good. What we saw on Sunday was what we've been seeing all season. A team that underperforms in all three phases of the game, a team that can't make big plays when needed to win games. And that was evident Sunday at home against the Steelers. The Ravens are no longer protecting this house. Remember that was the Under Armour. We must protect this house. They ain't protecting nothing, Calvin. They have 5 home losses this season. That's tied for the most when they had 5 home losses in the 2015 season. Now, you can't leave the game up to officials. We know that. But 3 official calls decided the outcome of this game. We had the special teams call where they called you can't hit the center on the special team snap, on field goal snap, or on punt snap either. Went back and they apologized. That was incorrectly called, but they called it in the game. Steelers decided to take the penalty, which took a field goal off the board, and they scored in the next couple of plays, which put 7 points, deciding points for the game up on the board. Then you had the Rodgers interception fumble, which appeared on replay that he had no possession of the ball when he tried to catch the ball back that Teddy Buchanan took from him and recovered. But they said that Rodgers had possession when he was on the ground, which he clearly didn't. And then you had Isaiah Likely's TD catch that appeared to be a touchdown catch, that appeared to be at least 2.5 steps, almost 3. But they said he did not make a football move, and they took that touchdown off the board as well. And so, Calvin, what was your thoughts about Sunday and what you saw in these 3 particular things?
Yeah, so the Ravens didn't play well. Like you said, you can't leave the games in the officials' hands, but the officials actually snatched this game from us. I'm not going to say anything about the Rodgers should have been turnover because if the Ravens they aren't great in the red zone, they may not have scored a touchdown. Tyler Loop isn't the best kicker. He may not have made the field goal. So I won't even say we could have gotten points off of that. Let's leave that aside. The bad call that the NFL apologized for gave Pittsburgh another 4 points. Remember, we lost by 5. The touchdown that should have been a touchdown, we'll just say 6 points because we don't know if Tyler Loop is going to hit the extra point because he missed one earlier. But that's a 10-point swing right there. You don't leave it up to the refs, but the refs snatched that game from the Ravens. With that being said, um, Rashad Bateman has to catch that ball that is right in his hand. That's a clear touchdown. Mark
Lamar can't throw
Andrews.
that interception.
So that interception was the probably the worst interception that I have ever seen from Lamar Jackson, and he's thrown some bad ones, but this one was just what are you doing? Let me talk about Lamar Jackson because a lot of people talk about the offensive line, and y'all want to give Lamar a pass. I don't always give Lamar a pass. Lamar missed some. He missed some Zay Flowers down the sideline. He's throwing the ball out of bounds. He had one where he didn't throw it out of bounds, but it was too high. He had Derrick Henry on a swing pass that had nothing but blockers and daylight in front of him, and he skipped him the ball. Lamar has not been on his game also. So we gotta talk about that too. Um, I thought the Ravens played well enough to win that game against a bad team. It's difficult to say when I hear people say, like you even mentioned it, they can't get big plays when they need it. Well, those were some big plays. That touchdown was a big play. That should have been turnover was a big play. And it's things that just they didn't get the benefit of what should have been the call for. Um, It's just tough. Now, there are things that I have problems with. You're running a hurry up offense. A hurry up offense. You take 10 seconds with the clock running to run a motion and go over. Lamar walks over to Zay and say, "Come on, you got to run this motion." Why are we running a motion on a hurry up offense with the clock running? Like, who even calls that play? Why is he even in motion for it? Like, you got to go. Special teams was horrible. You got to run the hurry up to get down and score. You get a special teams penalty on the kickoff. Tyler Loop misses the extra point after a touchdown that motivated everyone. Then that was going into the half. Then you come back out the half and you kick the ball short of the 20-yard line, which
Did
is
he have
another
2
penalty.
illegal kicks in that game?
He had one, and it was right after the half. It was right
at
after
the
the
half.
half.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after the touchdown. So we scored the touchdown. Your next 2 appearances, you missed the extra point, and you get the penalty on the kickoff. It's just like what, and we still yelling loop. I'm yelling lose, because that's what you're doing, Tyler. Get the fuck. Anyway.
All right, man. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the offense. The Ravens lost 27-22, brings their record to 6-7. This was a pivotal game. It could have put them in first place in the division. But right now, they're fighting for their lives. They still mathematically alive, but I think in our eyes, they're pretty much they're on life support. Lamar was 19 for 35, 219 yards passing, 1 in the air, 1 running. He had that terrible interception. He continues to miss open receivers, like you said, and he's under constant pressure because his line, particularly up the middle, they cannot block. You just saw it all day on Sunday. Every time he dropped back, they sent a delayed blitz with Patrick Queen up the middle that Daniel Falale or Andrew Voorhees could not block. Every play, every time he dropped back, they waited about 2 or 3 seconds, and then they sent a blitzer up the middle, and they could not contain it. And that forced Lamar to pull down the ball, to move, to try to make a play. And it just didn't happen. Lamar was also sacked 2 times and was under consistent pressure throughout the game. Henry, he rushed for 94 yards on 25 carries. And Mitchell, he also had a good game as well. He rushed for 76 yards on 6 carries. Outside of Zay, who had 8 catches for 124 yards, no other receiver had over 25 yards total in catches. I think Mark Andrews only had 1 catch. It was maybe for 9 yards. What's going on with the offense?
So the offense is not being creative enough, in my opinion. You're not calling plays to negate what's happening with your offensive line. Again, you're running these same plays with these motions, these same running plays. The plays that you seem to have success on, you're not running at all. But the offense is very predictable. It looks like most of the time the opposing team knows what's about to happen. They're always there. Or either you're letting them take so long to develop, like you're running these deep routes so long to develop that it's just not happening, and your players aren't getting open. And that's another thing. Why aren't the receivers getting open? The only one getting open is Zay. And then when Zay gets open, Zay is like a game of Candyland. He moves up 1 block, but then has to go back 3.
He out here playing Frogger. He jumping from this log, he jumping back up, then he jumping down. Like, dude, where you going?
Zay is in his 3rd season, and it is still like, Zay, catch the ball and just run forward. And the worst part about him doing it is, it's not like you hold on to the ball every time. Like, you are definitely fumble ready. So just go.
At least Hollywood ran forward and fell down.
Exactly.
At least he caught it, he ran forward, and then he would fall. Zay, you catching the ball, you going backwards 5 yards, and you trying to go up the 5 yards you gave up.
damn, Rashad Bateman caught the ball and just went down.
I saw
My,
that.
wi-
Right, he
my
did
wife
that.
was like, why did he just go down? I said, because he ain't Zay Flowers. He said, fuck this. Ain't no need me in and out, trying to juke, and then they make me fumble the ball.
And he just laid down. I'm like, is he trying to get more yards? He just caught the ball and laid
He
down.
was like, fuck your yak.
I don't want you. I don't want yak. Forget yak. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
the offensive line is horrible.
They're
And
bad,
as
really
we've
bad.
said before, Lamar has really covered a multitude of sins for that offensive line. And over these last 3 years, they've let good pieces of the offensive line go because they're banking that Lamar can bail them out because he's able to avoid the rush a lot. And so you let go a Kevin Zeitler, you let go a Pat McCarry, you let go a John Simpson, and some other players who play pretty decent for you, and you got a guard who is just, I mean, it's national now. Falale is just terrible,
Everybody knows.
but you don't have anybody behind him, and so you don't have like, okay, there's a guy we can put in. There's nobody there. That's why he's playing. Ben Cleveland just got suspended for violating the league substance abuse policy. So he hasn't basically given you anything since he's been here. There's nobody there. Um, Same thing with Stanley. Stanley's been good, but he's been banged up towards the end of his career. There's nobody else to put in at left tackle. They signed the guy from the Rams, but he's horrible. And so there's not a lot of choices, and you got weapons, but your line is not good. That they can't get pushed. They can't get inside the 10. And last year they were able to get inside the 10 and they were able to run you out. They were able to
Automatic.
stuff it automatically. They stuffed it down your throat. They can't do it this year. They cannot do it this year.
And it's hurting Lindenbaum's stock, because if you start watching some of these plays, Lindenbaum is not playing well either. And I don't know if that's because he's got to cover so much ground to make up for these guards next to him. But it's not like he's I don't know what he's ranked, but he came into this season top five center,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's
But
anywhere near that right
them
now.
guards are making him look terrible because them
Exactly.
guards can't block, and so
Exactly.
he's having to, do a lot more at the center position. I mean, this guy was they're talking about, he was the next coming of the greatest centers to ever play the
So,
game because he had very
somebody
good guards playing next to him.
I think we've all been like, well, yeah, we won't be able to afford him this off season. Like, we all were resigned to the fact that he
Right?
might be playing for another team because he's so
He might
good
be
and we
back.
can't pay him.
He might be
Like,
back. He might be back because ain't nobody gonna pay him. He might be back. Now let's talk about the defense. The defense held the run game, the Steelers' run game in check. They only had 34 yards total on the ground, but Aaron Rodgers threw for 284, one touchdown in the air, and he ran in one. And Calvin, he was not sacked the entire game. Really did not have any pressure. They also had no answer for DK Metcalf. He was 7 catches for 148 yards.
Torture.
What happened to the Kyle Hamilton at the line of scrimmage blitzes we were seeing when they came out against Miami for the weeks after this? And
They,
Alohi has stepped up, and Alohi was this big influence on the back end, and they're doing all of these things. And they seem like they're stout against the run. I think Roquan is playing fairly well. What? What? They can't
they,
get no. This is they only got one sack the week before that against the Bengals.
so they can't. So you can't have Kyle on the line when DK Metcalf is schooling the entire secondary. So I think the issue was, now if the Ravens should get a lot of credit for the run game that they held up. They should get a lot of credit for holding, even though he did go out with a concussion. But for holding their tight ends to
Mm-hmm.
only a couple plays. So they did well there, but they could not stop the receivers, specifically DK Metcalf. I mean, and he worked everybody. Awuzie got some.
Mhm.
Marlon got some.
Mhm.
Wiggins got some. They all got some.
He was an equal opportunity giving out
Exactly.
burns to everybody.
But the biggest issue is not being able to sack Aaron Rodgers, not even once. And another thing, like, I don't know if these guys are scared of Cougars or not, because Aaron Rodgers is 42, and these young guys are running back there, but they can't knock him down. It just makes me believe that when they go to Melba's or something, they not knocking down these older ladies up there. They must be scared of the older, the older people. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is doing things like ducking his head, not his whole body, his head, and they just flying over the top of him. I'm literally like, what are you doing? I thought you were supposed to target the waist because you can't target the legs anymore
Right.
of the quarterback. I thought you were supposed to target the waist. I just the number of missed opportunities that they had is ridiculous. And when you get those opportunities, knowing that you're not going to get many because you're not getting back there, you got to take advantage of them. It was ridiculous watching some of them misses on Aaron Rodgers.
Melbus. So they were missing on Melbus.
Yeah, they not knocking them down. They not knocking down. They ain't
Melbus.
knocking down the cute Cougars. They not knocking them down, side.
They ain't getting Auntie, huh? They ain't getting Sheila Dixon up in there, huh? Her and Kathy Pugh. They ain't getting
Yeah,
them.
quiet,
Melbus.
quiet as it's kept. Them two. Never mind. Never mind.
Bro, you ain't gotta be quiet about
Never
that.
mind. Never mind.
I just seen them up close. Yes, sir. Mayor Dixon, she was she
Yeah,
was she was a piece of a
yeah,
blessing.
and I don't know what kind of commissary Pew had in the federal lockup, but that thing got grittier. It was already grits. It got grittier.
That thing thanging.
Yeah, man, it ain't that thing ain't just it ain't just butter and pepper. That's them sugar. That's that sugar.
They put
She got
sugar on
that
the grits on
sugar.
that way.
She got that sugar back there.
Eating some lumpy oatmeal. But anyway, yeah, man. I don't know what's going to go on with this, Steve. And so I really, as I was watching the game Sunday, I just was like, we keep on saying they got it. This is it. This is it. They're going to turn the corner. They're going to turn the corner. But yeah, this team that we've been seeing since that first blown game of the season. This is who they are this year.
Who
This
they
is a
are.
team that the ball is not bouncing their way. Some of the players and positions are not as good as we want them to be, and it's showing. They did not go out go up the line. You've had injuries, but everybody's back, and so you can't use injuries anymore as an excuse of okay. You can say that early in the season, everybody's out, everybody's back now. Yeah, Lamar's dinged up. Everybody's dinged up at this point of the season. I'm sure he was dinged up last year, but they played way better last year than they are this year. And so the Ravens, they head out to Cincinnati with their season in balance, Callan. The Bengals, they kind of mathematically, they're out of the picture after blowing a big lead in a comeback loss to the Bills last week in the snow up in Buffalo. And so what are the keys to this game? What do you think? If the Ravens could win, what do they need to do to win?
Yeah, so MAGA Harbaugh should definitely focus on getting the ball to Isaiah Likely. The Bengals are historically the worst in defending the tight end. Um, Likely definitely needs to calm down some of the antics, and I don't want to blame him, but you got to just play some basic football when you're in the end zone because clearly your last two times ain't working. They've got to find a way to get some pressure on Burrow. If T. Higgins isn't playing, you got to double. You got to double Jamar Chase. Now, the last game, Jamar Chase didn't get in the end zone, but he caught he went for over 100 yards just in pass receptions. So I just they got to get pressure and they've got to score. They should be able to exude their will on the Bengals defense. Even with this bad line, they should be able to run the ball. They should be able to pass, to utilize your tight ends. They got three very good pass catching tight ends they should really be able to utilize all three. And I just mentioned likely because he's the most agile of the three. So I think the game is going to come down to um, them getting any kind of pressure on Burrow and keeping the ball away from Chase as much as you can and throwing the ball to likely.
Okay. I think they have to. I agree with you. They got to get pressure on the quarterback. They can't come out of this game with just one sack on Barrow. You've got to get pressure on Barrow. You've got to get a good number of sacks. I'm not saying you got to come out here with 10, but you need more than you need 5 or more. Let's say that. I think that's saying that you got good pressure going on. Yeah, you got to contain Chase. You're not going to stop Chase. You got to contain him, and you got to be able to score. You got to be consistent in your pass game. That means the protection has to be better. No, they don't have Hendrickson, but you would have thought last 2 weeks ago they were playing the 76 Steelers. You would have thought Mean Joe Green and Mel Blount and Donnie. Oh my God, Donnie, not Donnie Edwards. I'm trying to remember that Donnie Shell. You would have thought Donnie Shell was back there playing defense. Jack Lambert and Jack Hammond, all of them. LC Greenwood, but yeah, you can't make this defense appear to be better than they are. You can score. Buffalo just showed that you can score on them, and Buffalo came back. They were down by a whole lot, like they were against the Ravens in that first game, and they stormed back. And so you've got to be able to put together good offense, run the ball, be able to throw the ball, and move the ball. I think that's the only way they got to do that. You're not going to stop Chase, but don't let the bleeding be too bad. And actually, if you go back and you look at the first Bengal game, they actually played them very well. They did not have a whole bunch of yardage given up. It was just at crucial times they could not make those stops.
Right.
And then they blew a couple coverages in the back end that gave other people opportunities for touchdown. I think Burrow only had 2 touchdowns in that game.
And
And so we
remember,
wasn't able to do anything offensively.
and we lost 3 touchdowns. We lost the Zay Flowers
Yes.
penalty. We lost the Isaiah Likely fumble, and we
Fumble.
lost the Tez Walker drop.
Right.
So you know,
Yeah. So you gotta play better. All right. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about a pick when we get to the pick 'em. All right. Real quick, man. Your boy Trump. He wants to rename the NFL. Donald Trump suggested Fridays during Friday's World Cup draw that soccer should be the real football in the United States, and that the NFL should find another name for its sport. But when you look at this is Trump talking. But when you look at what has happened to football in the United States, soccer in the United States, we never seem to call it football because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football, Trump said. But when you think about it, it shouldn't really be called this. This is football. No question about it. We have to come up with another name for the NFL. It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. Calvin, and also today I saw something. Marco Rubio said that the Defense Department, not the Defense Department, yeah, the Defense Department, or it might be the State Department. The State Department can no longer use uh, Sanskrit. They can't use Calibri as a script when doing emails. They have to be all Times Roman because we don't want to make it easy for people with handicaps to read memos. And so they're concerned about a lot of stuff that doesn't make any difference. So what did you think about the president? He wants to change the name of the NFL.
America first, right? I thought it was America first. So now you want to adopt the rest of the world's name, the rest of the world that you call shitty or communist or I wonder where that comes from. So America first, right? So we want to change the name. However, I won't put it past them because he successfully took Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday off of the National Park Registry for holidays, free admission in the national parks, and made his birthday
Really?
free admission in the national park. Yeah, you didn't see that? That was
I didn't
last
see
week.
that.
So
Wow.
the national parks, of course, certain holidays, it's free entrance into these national parks. And Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, being a federal holiday, was one of those
Mm-hmm.
days. That is no longer a free day for the national parks, but Donald Trump's birthday is.
Wow. That's crazy. All right, man. Let's get to the part of the program that Calvin hates. Pigskin Pick'em.
First of all, this is some. Let me tell you, this is some bullshit. Let me tell you, this is some bullshit.
Oh,
Kevin
y'all.
Kevin Stefayer should have let Shador Sanders take that 2-point conversion. First of all, he should have never tried the 2-point conversion earlier, kick the normal extra point, tie the game up, and then the next go round you only need set. Anyway, I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
I'm trying to get the violin tuned up for you.
You only gained one. We differed on 3. I won 1. You won 2. You gained
Yeah.
1.
Okay. I mean, well, I was up. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
You were up. What were you up?
yeah,
5.
I was up 5, and now I'm up 6. And so
Fuck
I
this game.
look at you. I told you this is the part of the program that Calvin hates. I correctly picked the Jags over the Colts and the Titans over the Browns, just like Calvin was lamenting about Kevin Stefanski and his excellent choice not to have Shador on the field for the last play. And he picked the Packers over the Bears. Bears, they were right there. They could have been in it, but bad interception at the end of the game. And so right now we stand at 29-23. I'm leading by 6. And so let's go into these Week 15 picks. Tomorrow night, the Falcons, they head out to Tampa to play the Bucks. Who you taking?
I'm gonna have to take the one-armed bandit, the Bucks, but they lost a horrible game to the Saints last week. But I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Yeah, that rain equalized everything, and so it was pouring down out there, and
At home.
at home. So yeah, that kind of equalized it. I think if it was a dry track, maybe Buccaneers boat racing. The Bills. This is a big game for the
You
AFC.
taking the Bucks?
Yes, I'm taking the Bucks as well. I apologize. The Bills. They head up to New England to face the Patriots. Who you taking?
Big game. Big game. Listen, let me just say this. If Buffalo wants to start yelling MVP and saying that Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson, we ain't got no legs to stand on, bro.
Bro, I was just thinking the same thing the other day.
Josh
Josh
is out here killing it. He is.
Josh Allen is the MVP. He's running over people. He's doing whatever you need to do to win the game.
Absolutely. Lamar should have won that third one last year because
yeah. He ain't getting that in the immediate future.
With that being stated, I do think that the Bills are going to go ahead and take this game. But what are they? 2 games behind the Patriots in the division. I think the Bills are going to take this game because they really need it. But isn't this in New England?
It is.
Yeah, because they lost to them in Buffalo. But I think the Bills will win this game.
All right, I'm taking the Patriots, and so that's where we're different on this one. Patriots at home, they've been playing very well. I see them taking this game, and I think are they coming off a bye? Did they play last week? I don't think they played on Thursday.
Yeah, I was about to say they played last week. They beat up on the Giants.
Yeah, they beat up on the Giants, and so the Jets, they are down in Jacksonville taking on the revitalized Jags.
Yeah, man, I think it's probably going to be the first time in a while, but I think the Jags can be trusted now. I'm gonna go ahead and take Trevor Lawrence and the boys.
I agree with you. I think they can be trusted. I think they finally learned we can go ahead and win these games. So I will take the Jags as well. Chargers coming off a big win on Monday night. They face the Chiefs. Who you got?
Yeah, man, big win against the Eagles. And it really the score was a lot. The score was a lot closer than the game actually seemed to be. Chiefs really need this win to try to stay in wild card contention. They lost to the Dolphins, so they are behind the Ravens, even though the head-to-head match favored the Chiefs. But they're behind the Ravens in the wild card race. But the Chiefs are done. I'm taking the Chargers to sweep the Chiefs in the division.
I'm taking the Chargers as well. Cardinals, you want to take them again? They're playing the Texans in Houston.
So that's what you just going.
You took them 2 straight weeks. I just want.
Yeah, I mean this is a trap game for Houston, so I should take the Cardinals, but I'm not. I'm taking the Texans.
A trap game.
It is, bro. It
Back on
is.
track for the Cardinals this year. The Browns, they're in Chicago to
Who
face
you
the Bears.
taking?
I'm taking the Texans.
Okay.
The Browns, they are in Chicago to take the Bears. Take on the
Yeah.
Bears.
Yeah. Bears. Bears.
Bears. I am taking the Bears as well. The Commanders, they are up in New Jersey to take on the Giants.
Just want y'all to know, Commanders fans, that the reason that Jaden Daniels is no longer playing again is because of Garland. Garland said that Jaden
I
Daniels
did.
is hurt and not playing the rest of the season when I knew he was. But because Garland put that out there in the air, his mama said that he ain't playing no more.
I did.
I'm going to take the Commanders, though, because I think Marcus Mariota is absolutely a solid backup. I think Jackson Dart is pretty good, but I'm gonna take the Commanders. They're on
He
the
wasn't a
road, aren't
solid backup last week. He got a couple people put out the game with some of them balloon throws, and they got blown out by 9 and the Vikings 31 to zip. And
they?
they shouldn't have even brought Jaden Daniels back.
They
I mean, the
should not
season's
have brought
basically
Jaden
over.
Daniels back. That's what
Why'd
it
you got
was.
him out there playing?
Season is over.
Season's over.
I'm gonna take the
Raiders.
Commanders, though. Who you taking?
Okay, I'm taking the Commanders as well. Raiders, they head up to Philly to face the Eagles. Hopefully, the Eagles, this is a nice little respite for them. This should get them back in the winning column. I'm taking the Eagles. Who you take?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles. Raiders are a poverty franchise.
Oh my God.
They actually had Kenny Pickett quarterbacking last week.
Yeah, I saw that for a couple plays. Was he played the fourth quarter?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gino's horrible. Gino's not playing well. I don't want to say he's horrible. He's not playing well.
Tough game for the Colts coming up. They travel out to Seattle to play a very balanced and very good defensive Seahawks team. Who are you taking?
Yeah, Seahawks might be in the NFC Championship. I'm taking the Seahawks in this game.
I'm taking the Seahawks as well. Another good game. The Packers, they head out to Denver to take on the Broncos.
Yeah, Jordan Love is playing out of his mind. I'm going to Packers. I think that might be an upset against the
Okay.
Broncos.
I'm going to take the Broncos. So we different on that game. Titans, they head out to Santa Clara to take on the Niners.
Yeah, they did beat the Browns, and I think they were a little hyped about that. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm taking the 49ers.
I'm taking the Niners as well. The Panthers, who might be the first place Panthers if they win on Sunday, face the Saints.
What do you mean might be? What do you mean might be? Let's go Panthers. I'm taking Bryce and the boys.
All right. All right. I'm taking the Panthers as well. This is going to be a good game. I think this is one of the 4 o'clock games. The Lions, they head out to LA to take on the Rams.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game for the Rams. I'm taking the Rams. I think the Lions are missing the playoffs this year.
I think so too. I'm taking the Rams as well. The Vikings, they come down to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Who you got?
Yo, and they just came off that big scoring. Man, they should have kept some of them points to go down to Dallas because they're going to lose this one. They might not even score 14. I'm taking the Cowboys.
I think it'll be a shootout. You know, the Cowboys, they can't play no defense. And so
Defense has actually gotten a lot better.
They got a little bit better. You see that game up in Detroit? Did you see that game up in Detroit?
That's Detroit. Detroit is a high-powered offense.
The Dolphins.
Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Cowboys. I said that. I'm taking the Cowboys as well. The Dolphins, they head up to Pittsburgh to take the Steelers Monday night.
Wow. So this is going to be an upset because I'm taking the Dolphins in that defense that has gotten better. The Dolphins have actually, what are they, 4 in a row? Pittsburgh is coming off of a game that they thought they really dominated, but they may not have the refs to help them this time. I'm taking the Miami Dolphins.
All right. Dolphins, cold weather in Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers.
That's what we said last week, Dolphins, cold weather, and they went up there and won.
Yeah, but it was the Jets. I was hoping for the best.
Pittsburgh ain't much better. Just saying.
It was the Jets.
We just made them look better.
And the game that matters around here, the Ravens, they head out to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Who you got?
Yo, this is a game that the Ravens will win because the Ravens, that's how the AFC North goes. But I'm not taking them. I told y'all I'm not picking the Ravens anymore. I'm picking the Bengals. I hate that. But I'm picking Cincinnati.
That's crazy. I'm taking Cincinnati as well. All of those reasons. For all of those reasons. I don't think they're going to win any of these final four games.
Yeah, I'm not picking them in any of them.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win these
Let me
final
back
four.
up. Let me back up. If they do go to Pittsburgh and the division is on the line in that game, I will pick the Ravens for that
Well,
game.
yeah, that's different, but they need to win at least three of these next four games, and I don't think they're going to win them.
Well, it depends. So if they beat the Bengals, which I believe they should, the Bengals are out of it. You ain't got to worry about them anymore. I do think Miami is going to beat Pittsburgh. Then Pittsburgh has to go to play Detroit. I do think they'll lose to Detroit. So we may be looking at, we could be looking at a final week battle. We
You're
could.
doing a lot of wishing.
We're
You're
doing,
doing a lot of wishing.
look,
You're
like I
doing a
said
lot of
earlier,
wishing.
they mine and I'm gonna stick with them. Except for this
Still,
week, I'm not picking
the,
them.
the Steelers got the Dolphins, Lions, Browns, and Ravens.
I think the Browns are going to beat them.
All right, man. Let me keep on going. Let me keep on going. Let me read back these picks. We both take the Bucks over the Falcons. We split on Bills Patriots. Calvin's taking the Bills. I'm taking the Pats. We both take Jaguars over Jets, Chargers over Chiefs, Texans over Cardinals, Bears over Browns, Commanders over Giants, Eagles over Raiders, Seahawks over Colts. We split on Packers Broncos. Calvin's taking the Packers. I'm taking the Broncos. We both take Niners over Titans, Panthers over Saints, Rams over Lions, Cowboys over Vikings. We split on Dolphins Steelers. Calvin's taking the Dolphins. I'm taking the Steelers. And we both take the Bengals over the Ravens. All right. We'll see what happens next week. All right, man. Real quick, just want to say if you have not listened, I'm not going to give my review. I'll do it next week because we're kind of up on time. But if you, I'm going to talk about De La Soul's Cabin in the Sky. It was just released a couple weeks ago. It's their ninth studio album by De La Soul. It's the group's first album since the death of Dave, or better known as True Goy the Dove, Yogurt backwards, who died in 2023, and features previously unreleased vocals from him. So excuse me, it's the sixth and penultimate album in Mass Appeals. That's the record label that I believe Nas is has ownership of the Legend Has It series, where they've been releasing albums this year from hip hop legends. They released an album from Ghostface, Mob D, Nas, and DJ Premier releasing the album the end of this week, and they've done some others. And so we'll talk a little bit more about it because we're a little bit of time tight. Baltimore Orioles, they signed first baseman Pete Alonso to a 5-year, $155 million contract. Any quick thoughts about that, Calvin?
Yeah, about time. About time. And I'm not saying it's about time for Pete Alonso. I'm saying it's about time you started paying some people. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a whole new era in Baltimore baseball free agency signing.
All right, fantastic. I believe you and I agree with you. And I guess they'll be moving left field back in again. All right, come on, yo. This is the part of the program that everybody loves. You got to come on, yo, for us, Calvin.
I do, but I'm gonna let you go first. You got one?
Yeah, man. I just want to say college sports are dead. The University of Utah announced plans to help the athletic department generate new revenue streams, in part through a first of its kind partnership with a private equity firm. The school announced the formation of Utah Brands and Entertainment LLC, which will be owned by the university's foundation. It's being touted as a way to build the school's brand and enhance the athletic programs. The new company could generate around $500 million in capital, according to Yahoo Sports. The inclusion of private equity is a first in college sports, and it follows big changes in the industry, which players are able to earn money, from NIL, name, image, and likeness, and receive direct payment from schools. Calvin, when you think about this, private equity has done nothing but kill everything it's gotten its hands on. It's killed the mortgage industry. Baltimore is going through a major fight right now with major mass foreclosures because of private equity financing for these homes that people are stealing the money and not buying the homes, or they're not fixing them up. And you have over 300 homes that are about to go into foreclosure and they were financed by private equity. Numerous businesses have gone out of business because of private equity. Healthcare has gone up because of private equity. And so I think this is a horrible thing for college sports, getting private equity involved. I think the more and more we get away from this, I think we just need to go ahead and say, hey, colleges, won't we just have an agreement with the professional sports leagues that you serve as our minor leagues and these players will go to the majors from here, because that's basically the only step that is in between someone having ownership of a school versus having ownership of a professional team. So come on, yo.
Come on, yo. I agree. I completely agree with you on that. I don't really have much more to say, but I completely agree with you. But it brings me to another problem that Baltimore City has. Come on, yo. I want to say beginning of this year, maybe it was last year. Baltimore City talked about they were getting an influx of money and they were going to start working on the streets of Baltimore City. My wife's SUV had to get an alignment last year. Guess what she has to get this year? Another alignment. Another alignment. It is ridiculous how, I mean, riding in Baltimore City streets, you literally feel like you're on a roller coaster just jumping up and down. It is absolutely ridiculous. Come on, Baltimore, let's get these streets together. You start filling these potholes, and then the next thing you know, they're unfilled. I don't know what you're using in there, but it definitely ain't Gorilla Glue. You're probably using that cheap ass dollar store glue that's coming right back out. But I can tell you, coming down Northern Parkway, getting on 83, after every rain, those potholes are going to open up again. Because again, you're not using Gorilla Glue. When I get on 83, right at that bend between what is that, Falls Road and 29th Street, right at that bend, there's another pothole in the fast lane. Because after it rains, your glue loosens up and those little pebbles and rocks come out. Come on, Baltimore. Let's get these potholes together. I mean, we're making a lot of progress in other areas, and I love it. But like we always say, nobody cares about us middle class people. Like, nobody cares about us. We don't get any benefits. The least you can do is fix the goddamn roads for us. Come on, Baltimore. Come on, y'all.
Come on, yo. I agree. I drive downtown often for work, and yeah,
that's the worst.
I had to get some alignment work through. So yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Hey man, another successful. We got here early. You all don't know that, but we got here about 5 o'clock today. It doesn't really seem like it because it gets dark nowadays at 5:01. But we got here at 5 o'clock today just to do this a little earlier for y'all. So we definitely appreciate it. Let me hit this music. We will be back next week, and we got Christmas coming up. Garland, we gotta think about something for Christmas, man.
I'll put some ideas together.
Yeah.
You have been listening to the B.I.G. Show.
List
this show was produced and written by Calvin Coates and Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions. Follow us on all of your podcast media platforms.
Hard on that one. I'm almost finished. Video, wild boy.